Do you know what it feels like to be in the arms of a man who is deeply devoted to you, who cherishes, who adores you, who wants to protect you, who loves you and treats you like not just an option, but treats you like the only woman he sees and desires? Not that long ago, I had no idea what this feeling felt like. This was just something that I desired to have, that I would imagine only in my imagination. And now I'm living a life where this is the man, this is the type of love that I described. I have it, and I want to share and inspire you women why you can have this too, and what needs to be unlocked with you to receive this type of love. So like I said, I was laying in bed and my baby boy is sleeping in his bassinet. I can hear his little snores, his breathing, and my husband has his arms around me, pulled me in, and I'm just with my fingertips just kind of running against on his arm, on his bicep, forearm, just back and forth. And I'm thinking to myself, this feeling that I have right now, this feeling of home, a feeling at rest. My breathing is just slowed down. I mean, I hear the literal live breathing of my son. This is home. This is heaven. I'm with a man who I don't have a single doubt for his love, for his devotion, for his faithfulness. I know deep inside that I have a man who loves me, who cherishes, who adores me, because I am literally his dream woman. I can honestly say that because he said it to me so many times, and not that he just says it, but he acts like it. His actions prove it. Ladies, this was not always the case. Not that long ago, I used to only dream about this, and I was single. I was the type of woman who used to give and try to do just everything that I could to experience love, and I was not understanding why I did not have love. I did not understand why I could not have any kind of successful relationship where I truly felt chosen. I felt like I was always giving or over giving or proving myself, and these were things I didn't even realize because they were so subconscious. I'm laying here and thinking, wow, I have this beautiful love. And interestingly enough, just that evening, my husband and I watched a show, and there was a scene where a father is talking with his teenage daughter, and they're on a trip. She has brought her boyfriend, her football star hero boyfriend, to this family event, and she's always looking flirty, looking cute. All her outfits are so revealing, and as she once mentioned, all her clothes are to seduce this guy who's already her boyfriend, but she's very aware that he's very good looking and popular and all the girls want him, and so she's doing everything that she can in her energy to keep him. Her dad said, "Are you guys having sex together?" And she said, "Dad, I'm not going to go into the details, but yes." And so the dad says, "Okay, fine. Well, then he can sleep on the couch and you're going to sleep in the same room as me." And she comes to this realization. She says, "Daddy, I've did everything. I've had sex with him. I've done everything, but I've never slept with him. Meaning, I've had sex with him, Daddy, but I've never went to bed. I never fell asleep in his arms and just woke up in his arms." And she just kind of sinks in thinking about that feeling of like, what would it feel like to just be safe, to just totally melt into this man's arms. And then she says, "Daddy, will you let me go and just sleep with him? I promise I'm not going to have sex with him, but will you let me just for the first time go to bed and sleep in his arms and wake up?" And the dad was kind of hesitant at first. And then he's like, "Okay, fine." She goes to the living room where the guy's lounging on the couch. She's like, "Hey, I'm here. I can sleep with you." And he's like, "Oh, okay," getting all excited. And she's like, "No, not like that. Nothing sexual. I'm just going to sleep with you, next to you in your arms." And she's looking so happy. And he's just starting to look at her and stare at her. And he's like, "What? Honey, baby, that takes so much out of our relationship when we can't do anything that's sexual." And she's staring at him, and you could see her eyes are starting to fill up with tears as this heart-wrenching just truth is starting to peel away at her heart, and she's starting to realize this is a guy who wants me because he wants sex with me, but he doesn't just want me so that I could be with him. He doesn't value and love me enough to just open up his arms and receive me and let me lay on his chest and not expect anything more. And as soon as she realized, okay, this is the only reason why we're in this relationship, I mean, it just broke her. And she, next thing you know, the next scene is she's knocking on her dad's door back to the bedroom, and she's, her face, poor girl, is just teared up, and the dad's heart just drops because, I think every normal dad wants to see their daughter be loved, right? Not just used as some sex toy. And the dad opens up his arms, and she comes and lays on his chest, and then she says, I found out the truth about him. I found out the truth about us. And, she copes by saying, F him. And the dad's like, F him. And actually the next morning when she does wake up, she goes into the living room, and guess who's gone? Guess who collected his stuff and took the trash out? Himself. Yep, that's what happened. And so, just imagine giving your entire body, your deepest intimacy to someone and never feeling safe in his arms, knowing deep inside that, well, maybe you think that you had him, you have this guy, and realizing you never have because you've never had that safety. You've never not been in a situationship. You've never been in a relationship where you didn't feel like you had to be giving yourself, giving a little extra, trying to add that seduction, trying to win him over with your sexuality. The reality is, ladies, your sensuality, your sexuality is God-given. How you use it, that could lead to a lot of destruction, or that could be an amazing fire, beautiful thing that you bring into your marriage. Let's get into the two types of women who will never experience love. And in fact, they probably will experience heartbreak and repeated heartbreak. The first type of woman is the overgiver, and she is constantly giving so much of herself way too quick, way too soon, in the hopes that this guy will stay. And a lot of times with women, probably one of the easiest ways to get into that is giving up our body, our physical self, which obviously there's a piece of your heart that you give with that, obviously. But if you are beyond what you're comfortable, pushing certain boundaries, you're giving yourself up because you're worried, well, if this guy doesn't want to wait for me, or if this guy just wants to have sex, or if this guy, really needs more of whatever it is, and if I don't give it to him, then I won't be with him, then you are already compromising literally your heart. And you don't want to be caught up with a guy who deep, deep, deep inside, you know that he doesn't value you for you, and you have to kind of maneuver yourself and give up parts of very vulnerable, beautiful parts of your heart just to keep this guy. So you are ignoring red flags. This is a guy who's not texting you, not taking out you to dates, who isn't introducing you maybe as a girlfriend or someone he cares about. If you desire a man who makes you feel adored, who would do anything for you, who would be clear in his communication so that you don't doubt of his devotion for you. If you want this type of love, I promise you it is possible, but you have to raise some of your internal worthiness standards. If you are giving him, this guy, everything, and you're still waiting for him to choose you, you're already at a disadvantage. So ladies, remember, if sex could make a man commit, then every woman would be married right now. At least women in this type of category who are just giving themselves for the hunger and the desire to experience love. Don't conflate those two. Sex and love and devotion from a man are not mutually inclusive. And if you want to have a man who gives you both, who truly loves you, cherishes you, honors you, your heart sexually, that's possible, but you can't be in this category of women. Let's get into the other type of woman who is trying to make love happen, probably without realizing it. So this is the woman who is the strategic woman. She is over calculating, over analyzing, trying to figure out how to make a situation happen. And she might not be giving up her body for sex. Maybe she is. But the point with this type of woman, and this is where I was stuck in for a very long time, was I did not understand that instead of me just tapping into my heart and being who I am, I was overly trying to make or create a situation happen, and I was not being myself. I was almost like trying to like solve it, make something happen instead of me just being myself. And so that would look like, okay, I'm going to text this guy now, or I'm going to text him a little bit later when I'm doing this, so that if I'm hanging out outside, or then I could ask how he's doing. There was always, again, a condition. I will do this, so that this, so that, so, and it would always lead me back to hopefully then he can like me, see me, come over, etc. And the end result was always the same thing as the first woman in the first category. Hope that he would see me, he would love me, he would choose me, he would cherish me, he would chase me. And that would never happen, because women, we in this category, when we're this strategic, we're just operating out of our head. And it's manipulative. And I would have never in a million years thought that this was manipulative. I remember processing with my coach, well, I don't want to say this to him because, I don't want to say I want marriage. I don't want to say this scares me. I don't, all these things I didn't want to say because I was afraid of being too much, because too much for me meant being seen, and that risked not being chosen. That risked being rejected. That risked you being vulnerable. Someone sees your heart and says, ugh, not for me, no thanks. That was so scary. And so I didn't think that I was manipulating and making some guy like me, but I did not realize that by me holding back and suppressing myself, suppressing my heart, not showing myself, I was still being manipulative, in the sense that I was trying to get a certain outcome through withholding, suppressing, right? And so this is the type of woman who feels like, okay, I do feel like I'm special. I do feel like I have a lot to offer. I do feel like we could be so great together, but she's really confused. Why can't this guy just see her value? Why can't he just choose her? And the truth is, no amount of perfection, how you perfectly can text, what you can say, your timing, all of this perfection, performance, trying to make yourself be a certain way so that you get that guy, that's never going to work. Ladies, I went from being in that, over analyzing and, thinking I'm just being careful, I'm being wise. I had no idea that I was just blocking love, literally, from the over analyzing, doubting myself, trying to protect myself is really what it was. Afraid to reveal my heart. I had no idea how hard that is for me at the time to connect to my heart and be vulnerable. And once I did the inner work and I opened up my heart, love flooded in very quickly, very intensely. In fact, that's another chapter of how I had to learn how to open up my heart and continue to have it be open to receive this grand amount of love that I finally received. So I went from feeling invisible to feeling seen and chosen by my husband. I went from tolerating confusion in past relationships, trying to chase for some kind of validation and who are we and do you want to hang out, to a man who made it very clear he wants to see me, what his intentions are, what he wanted to do in that moment, to in the long run he did desire marriage and family like me. And I understand now the difference between being chosen as the option, the only one, versus an option, some backup plan. And I want you girls to know, when a man really, really loves you, there is no doubt, there is no guessing. This is a man who will fight for you and make his intentions very clean, very clear. You just have to truly believe that for yourself first. And so the love you desire is real, but first you have to step into this level of power, which is why I created a free training called Activate Your Charm. Click on the link below, and I want you to, ladies, understand, if you are tired of settling, If you're tired of wondering why love feels so far away, why you keep being stuck in the same cycles, why masculine men are not drawn to you, you have to understand that nothing in your life will change until you start to change your relationship with yourself first. And so that's why I created this free training, because I know exactly the process that it takes from being stuck in that woman who's trying to make love happen to the woman who love rushes so powerfully that she can't even believe like this is her real life now. Ladies, I want you to always know love has nothing to do with luck, and it's definitely not about you manipulating or trying to make love happen. It's all about alignment. When you align with the woman who is worthy of such love and devotion, then I promise you, you will receive nothing else. Make sure to click on the video, and I would love to continue to stay connected with you.